I think Nicolas Cage's next career move is the obvious one because he's drained every single thing he can. He's been legitimate, he's won awards, he started doing shitty movies, and he's worked his way all the way down the line to crappy Christian films.
Right.
His next move is porn star.
It's gotta be. Doesn't even have to change his name. He can still be Nic Cage.
I know, that's a good porn
like
star
someone
name.
Who could give a quality dicking.
The porn parodies write themselves. He could go and help steal the declaration of Indipusness.
The Declaration of Indipusness.
Yeah, it's a play on words.
Yeah, it is. It's great. What's the... It's National Treasure? National Pleasure.
No.
What? How is it not National Pleasure?
Nicolas Cage starring an ass anal treasure.
Okay, no. What's he getting out of their assholes?
Treasure!
La 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 la. Here we go. It's the Bible reloaded, the logic explosion, like Jesus and Moses, but it's Hugo and Jake. The Bible is jaded, and most of it taken, so get educated with Hugo and Jake. Pull up a pew and stop what you're doing. It's Bible reloaded time. They call it debated, the theist will hate it, like talking to taken, but it's Hugo and Jake. So I'm with the show then, it's not candy coated, it's the Bible reloaded with Hugo and Jake. With Hugo and Jake.
Hello everyone, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake.
And this is the Bible Reloaded,
Yay.
the Atheist Bible
That's
study.
our subtitle.
I know, this is a good episode to jump back in on, by the way. If you've been missing them or whatever, or you got bored with David, this is the one to watch, because now we're into a new chapter, 1 Kings,
Woo!
and it's much more interesting than
It's-
all of 2 Samuel has been.
It basically, it's like you went from watching Men of a Certain Age on TNT, they got canceled after 2 seasons, to rewatching Breaking Bad.
Poor Scott Bakula. Sign your name to a decent project, Bakula. You don't have the skill to...
It was the hair.
I know, you don't have a skill to get, like, a really good job, but at least pay the bills.
Right?
Anyway, today we're going to be talking about the new king in town, and that is going to be Solomon.
Who is David's son, because that's how succession works. But there's a Game of Thrones afoot!
There's always a Game of Thrones afoot.
I know.
I'm
There's
pretty-
no midgets though. I can say midgets because we're not a politically correct show.
Peter Dinklage, I'll call you whatever you want. I'll call you Daddy if you really want.
Daddy Dinklage, that's what the boys call him.
So, today we're going to go ahead and start in 1 Kings, and hey, what better way to start off our brand new chapter than talking about David again, who is the piece of shit we've been talking about for months.
It's okay though. He's like, we get to make fun of him a lot.
This is his Hugh Hefner years, though, so
Yeah.
if anything, it's gotten really, really cool.
Yeah, and he smells like tobacco, but you never actually see him smoke.
When David was very old, he could not keep warm even when they put covers over him.
The next sentence should be, so they shot him like a racehorse that had a broken leg.
I just can't get over how gross David probably is. You ever see
Yeah.
old people whose skin is super thin and translucent?
Yeah, and that's why they can't keep warm, is because there's nothing really separating the outside from the inside.
Let us look for a young virgin to serve the king and take care of him. She can lie beside him so that our lord the king may keep warm.
Why?
This is a good idea. This usually worked out.
Yeah.
Anytime you have a young girl sleeping with older men to keep warm. Historically sound.
Last time this happened, Clinton wasn't that old, and she wasn't that young. But I feel like that's how it went down. Bill Clinton's like, I'm really cold. I don't know if that's a Bill Clinton voice or not. I forgot the 90s. But Monica Lewinsky, big-boned lady, all right looking. I bet she kept him warm.
She was good looking for the 90s.
She was like a. If Topanga's a 10, she was an 8.
I'd give her a 7. She gets like a 4 now.
I don't know what she looks like, honestly.
Topanga, interestingly, was a 9 before. Now, a 12.
she appreciated over time, like wine.
She's a fine wine,
Yeah.
that
No,
Topanga.
she's a store-bought wine.
But one that I, kept in my basement for years and then took it out, and it's
This is the Barefoot 1992. For anyone who drinks wine, they know that Barefoot, pretty common shitty brand at the store.
But, it's not FDA approved anymore. It's fermented to the point where it's really not safe to drink.
Pretty much grape jam.
They searched throughout Israel for a beautiful young woman and found Abishag.
Oh, the most beautiful young woman with the ugliest fucking name we could find. Abishag. Which is also a good porn name, if Abish was a thing.
Abishag the Shunammite, and brought her to the king. The woman was very beautiful. She took care of the king and waited on him, but the king had no sexual relations with her. Can I point out that if you have to write down she had no sexual relations with him, she had sexual relations with him.
Or she tried and it would just flop over the other side.
I cannot imagine any of it was consensual. Her mouth was around a floppy old man penis at least once. Don't tell me it didn't happen at least once. I don't believe you.
I think it's probably one of those really frustrating moments where he's old and he thinks he's being charming, but she was told by the assistants, like, hey, don't fuck him, eventually your family's gonna die.
Like Joe Biden.
Yeah, pretty much like Joe Biden. And then he had that old man moment in some of those movies where he's like, I can't even get it up anymore, just kill me.
What movies are you watching?
Most of them have Asians in them. That sounds like a porn reference, but it's not really a porn reference, which is why I think it's funny.
This is the porn episode, apparently.
Just anything, you could look up anything, but you put Asian in front of it, it automatically sounds like a porn search. Asian pants. It kind of sounds like I'm looking for porn.
You're gonna find a little bit.
Probably. Asian brothers.
Definitely porn. Definitely. Like
but I've honestly looking for pictures on the show. I may have typed in Asian brothers at one point, just looking for 2 Asian dudes, and gotten porn on accident.
Now Adonijah, whose mother was Haggith,
oh no,
put himself forward and said, I will be king. So he got chariots and horses ready with 50 men to run ahead of him. His father had never rebuked him by asking, why do you behave as you do? He was also very handsome and born next after Absalom. So obviously Absalom's dead, so he can't be king. This guy, by right of succession, should, for all intents and purposes, be king.
Yeah, kind of, because succession's been weird in the Bible.
Yeah.
So it's been like, what'll generally happen is it'll be like, oh, the firstborn is supposed to get it, but he's not a good guy, or he's dead. Oh, the secondborn should get it, but he's not a good guy, or he's dead. The meekest of all of them, and the least likely, is gonna be king now. Do you get it?
The whole Bible is like a big underdog story, but it doesn't know what underdog means.
It's commonly underdog.
Because the underdog comes in and slaughters everyone?
Yeah, like David and Goliath is supposed to be an underdog story. No, he just turned into a fucking asshole.
The next part is incredibly boring, so I'm just going to summarize it to you and explain what happens. So all that happens is Bathsheba. Now, if you'll remember Bathsheba, all the way back in 2 Samuel, what happened was David saw a woman bathing on a roof and was like, get her for me. The guards went and got her for him. They had sex, which was maybe consensual, at least.
It was coerced at best.
And she got pregnant. They had a kid. God was mad because she was already married to someone else, and David had him killed. So God's like, I'm gonna kill that kid. They kill that kid. They have another kid because after that kid dies, David has grief sex with her, which is a thing.
Yep.
And this kid is Solomon, and Solomon is being set up as the new king. So Bathsheba goes to talk to David and says, did you notice that Adonijah is kind of setting himself up as king without your permission? That's kind of fucked up. And David's like, that is fucked up. Didn't I say Solomon was going to be king at some point? I guess I'll make Solomon king. So he does that. David, old, decrepit, thin-skinned, young woman sleeping with David, goes and gets Solomon and anoints him king. All the while, Adonijah and his men, because he has amassed a personal army, are already out partying. And now we're going to see what happens when they find out that, hey, you're not King Adonijah. The really old senile guy who likes to sleep with a young woman but can't get his dick to work has decided that Solomon is the guy.
I like the name Adonijah, which is what I focused on during your spiel.
Frankly, I'm glad Adonijah did not become the guy, just so I don't have to say Adonijah for the next month.
He sounds like a trustworthy Amishman.
A little bit. I'd be like, hey, Adonijah.
Yeah, and then he'd make me, like, a table and chairs, and I'd pay him, like, not even close to what it was worth.
He'd make one of those Amish heaters that works by magic.
Is that what they have?
Yeah, magic, totally. So we pick back up in 1 Kings, chapter 38. So Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah son of Jehoiada, the Kerethabites, The Pelethites went down and had Solomon mount King David's mule, and they escorted him to Gihon. You'd think he'd have a better mount than a
mule?
Yeah, I mean, I get it. It was probably just common and easy to have at the time, but I don't know. Regal, David. Try and be more regal.
Maybe mule had a better name in Hebrew. Maybe it was like...
Super Thunder Mount?
Why super?
Can't just have a Thunder Mount. That's not cool. Super Thunder Mount.
Oh.
That's cool.
I feel like Nintendo's naming this beast.
Zadok the priest took the horn of oil from the sacred tent and anointed Solomon. Then they sounded the trumpet, and all the people shouted, "Long live King Solomon!" And all the people went up after him, playing pipes and rejoicing greatly, so that the ground shook with the sound.
Oh,
I'm assuming that's poetic and that the ground did not literally shake with the sound of pipes, because I don't think that's feasible. Adonijah and all the guests who were with him heard it as they were finishing their feast. On the hearing of the sound of the trumpet, Joab asked, "What's the meaning of all the noise in the city?" Joab, by the way, who was
Turncoat!
who was one of David's advisors and the head of the military, was backing Adonijah's claim to the throne.
That's the name, I'm telling you.
Even as he was speaking, Jonathan, son of Abiathar, the priest, arrived. Adonijah said, "Come in, a worthy man like you must be bringing good news. People have even David before in previous chapters has been, just someone shows up, oh, you must have good news."
Yeah.
You're really setting yourself up to fail when you assume everyone coming to see you has good news.
I assume everyone coming to see me has, like, lukewarm news.
That's because that's your life.
Yeah.
Your life is very lukewarm.
It is at
If your
best.
life was a soup, it would be barely edible. You wouldn't send it back to the chef, but you wouldn't really enjoy it either. You'd say to your friend, like, "We're probably not coming back here," but that's about it. The friend won't be me, though. I don't like you enough.
To eat soup with me?
No, soup
Only
is...
solid foods only for our friendship.
Soup is an intimate thing. I'm not going to explain that. If you don't know what I'm talking about, then you go away. This is
so dumb. Just the dumbest.
It's not dumb. Not at all, Jonathan answered. Our Lord King David has made Solomon king.
No!
The king has sent him with Zadok the priest, Nathan the prophet, Benaiah the son of Jehoiada, the Ketherites, the Pelethites, and they have put him on the king's mule.
Not the king's mule?
Yeah, the mule.
The super thunder mount?
Yeah, totally. It's really awesome. And Zadok the priest and Nathan the prophet had anointed him king at Gihon. From there they have gone up cheering, and the city resounds with it. That's the noise you hear. Moreover, I love when the Bible says moreover.
Me too.
I can't use moreover in my everyday speech without sounding like a douchebag, so the Bible allows me that moreover outlet. Moreover, Solomon has taken his seat on the royal throne. I would have started with throne, not mule.
Well, the throne is also a mule. It's not a real mule. They carved a mule throne.
Super Thunder Throne. Also, the royal officials have come to congratulate our Lord King David, saying, "May your God make Solomon's name more famous than yours and his throne greater than yours." And the king bowed in worship on his bed and said, "Praise be the Lord, the God of Israel, who has allowed my eyes to see a successor on my throne today." At this, all of Adonijah's guests rose in alarm and dispersed. Like, oh shit, we better not be seen with this guy. David likes to kill people. But Adonijah, in fear of Solomon, went and took hold of the horns of the altar.
So the horns of the altar is kind of like when you go into church to seek sanctuary. So what he was doing is trying not to get murdered. So if he holds onto the horns, that's like a sacred thing. You can't break sanctuary. He's not supposed to be able to be killed.
It's very informative, Jake.
You're welcome. That Bible class I took was so worth it.
Then Solomon was told Adonijah is afraid of King Solomon and is clinging to the horns of the altar. He says, "Let King Solomon swear to me today that he will not put his servant to death with a sword." Solomon replied, "If he shows himself to be worthy, not a hair on his head will fall to the ground. But if evil I found in him, he will die."
First words of Solomon.
Yeah, it was very deep, though. It was very Jedi-like, but like if a Jedi kind of had gray morality.
So Mace Windu.
Yeah, like Mace Windu, but like a well-written character.
Ooh, ouch.
You got burned, Samuel L. Jackson. You just got reloaded. Reloaded. Hugo and the Badger.
Hugo and the Badger.
Badger?
We should make Hugo and the Badger t-shirts.
Then King Solomon sent men, and they brought him down from the altar, and Adonijah came and bowed down to King Solomon, and Solomon said, "Go to your home."
There's that.
Yep, that's the end of that one. Then we get on to chapter 2, David's charge to Solomon. David, surprisingly still alive. His last words were supposedly in the last book, but here we are, him still talking. At least he's a minor character now. He's not the main stage.
He's like Zordon.
He's like Zordon?
The guy died in the first, like, after the pilot, and then they just have a placeholder.
That's a true story.
Yep.
The Zordon head you remember as a kid. Dead guy. When the time drew near for David to die, he gave a charge to Solomon, his son. "I am about to go the way of all the earth," he said, "so be strong, act like a man, and observe what the Lord your God requires."
Wow, he's abusive even on his deathbed.
"Walk in obedience to him, and keep his decrees and commands, his laws and regulations as written in the law of Moses. Do this so that you may prosper in all you do and wherever you go, and that the Lord may keep his promise to me. If your descendants watch how they live, and if they walk faithfully before me with all their heart and soul, you will never fail to have a successor on the throne of Israel." They must have fucked up at some point then. King.
There's no king at
They
all.
elected a president recently.
Yeah. But pretty much what he's saying is, hey, if you do a good job, God will let your balls work correctly. And you can have sons and stuff.
That's good. I like functioning balls. On me, not necessarily on others.
Like on you?
No, like attached to me.
They drop them on your ear and you can listen to them and like, those balls work.
Yep, that's what I meant. Verse 5. "Now you yourself know that Joab the son of Zeruiah did to me what he did to the 2 commanders of Israel's armies, Abner son of Ner and Amasa son of Jether. He killed them, shedding their blood in peacetime as if in battle, and with that blood he stained the belt around his waist and the sandals on his feet. Deal with him according to your wisdom, but do not let his gray head go down to the grave in peace."
That was boring to me.
That whole story?
All that right there.
The thing I just read?
Yeah.
He's telling him to kill Joab because Joab did some shit in the war days, and Joab sided with the wrong son for king in the
Joab's
last chapter.
Just as old as David.
I
There's,
know.
like, no reason to.
It's the opposite of a mercy killing. It's a vengeance. I don't care if you only have 10 minutes to die. I'm gonna make sure you don't get those 10 minutes kind of death.
Yeah.
And remember, you have with you Shimei, son of Gera, the Benjamite from Bahurim, who called down bitter curses on me the day I went to Mahanaim. When he came down to meet me at the Jordan, I swore to him by the Lord, I will not put you to death by the sword. But now do not consider him innocent. You are a man of wisdom, and you will know what to do with him. Bring his gray head down to the grave in blood.
So don't kill him with a sword, but there's other ways.
When David rested with his ancestors and was buried in the city of David, he had reigned 40 years over Israel, 7 years in Hebron and 33 in Jerusalem.
So now he dies. So his last words: "Bring his gray head down in the grave in blood," which is so fitting.
He died the way he lived. Like an asshole. So Solomon sat on the throne of his father David, and his rule was firmly established. It was just a little established before, but now it's firmly established. So that is it for this episode. Next time we're going to get some consequences, because you know that woman who David was sleeping with?
Yeah.
Literally sleeping with, not fucking, according to the Bible.
Right.
She's going to come into play and get some people killed. And that's just golden.
Yeah,
So
but
this
we're
is
also
gonna
gonna
be a good couple episodes, everyone.
Yeah, we're also gonna have like Egypt daughter stuff, and we're gonna have some prostitutes.
And a baby might get cut in half, which is good. That's always fun. So make sure you come back next week, because this is a whole new chapter for the Bible Reloaded.
Oh, we're so excited!
It's gonna be great again.
We're so excited.
Golden Age.
Yes. So I guess there's a couple things that are happening in the Jake and Hugo realm. Unpopular Culture is coming back on the 12th of this month. And that'll be good. And we're going full relaunch. We'll do 1 episode a week. We're gonna be talking about Daredevil pretty soon. So if you haven't seen that, maybe you want to, or maybe you want to wait until our reviews of it. We're also going to be doing some gaming stuff, and then we'll get into some movies and stuff. And whenever we're gonna go see Avengers, so we'll probably end up doing something on that. It'll be a lot of fun, and then we'll go through Doctor Who in the winter when that happens. So we should be full time back onto that. We had some just bunch of shit going on, but that's revived, resuscitated.
Yes.
And it's going to be exciting, and we're very excited about it.
More on this channel, though. We're doing a Teespring.
Woo!
So for those of you who've been wanting logo t-shirts, go ahead and go to Teespring. I think you can click links on the screen to Teespring.
It used to, so we'll see if it works.
So
If
click
not,
on this if you want a logo T-shirt.
If that doesn't work, then
Comments, but it'll
description box.
it's probably on the screen though. Other than that, you can always donate to our Patreon. That's real cool. We're above our $1,000 goal, and I'm holding a Quran in my hands as I speak, and we're going to be doing the Quran Reloaded. However,
it's a tiny purple Quran.
Yep. Right now, we're working on getting the theme song for the Quran Reloaded.
Yep.
And a logo alteration.
We're not gonna do it until it's fully produced, so it might take a while.
Yeah.
But because we don't want to just give you here's the Quran and shit what we have right now. But yeah, so we're working on that. We're going full steam ahead on that. Also, our new goal for 2000 is we're going to do a Harold Penisman talk show, which will be fun. And all that would do is take up one of our Friday slots, so we'd probably combine the Jake Reads and the Ask Hugo, and we'd probably do an alternate thing like that. So that'd just be fine. You could follow us on Twitter, or you could follow me at Bible Reloaded.
Follow me at Hugo Reloaded. I've been following people recently because they bitched at me that I don't follow them.
Tori, talking about you.
Yeah. So thanks everyone for watching. I mean, this has been wonderful. I'm glad we're on to more interesting things now because I enjoy doing the Bible very much, but I hate when it gets boring.
Me too.
When it gets boring next time, let's skip a whole bunch of stuff instead of looking at David Hasselhoff pictures for months.
Sounds good. I think we'll be skipping Psalms.
We'll do one episode for Psalms.
Oh yeah, you know what I'm saying. We were going to skip a lot of it. So, that's it.
Until next time, I'm Hugo.
And I'm Jake. Even in the intermediate time, though, I'm still, not just till next time, like, still Jake.
And this is the Bible Reloaded. And next week we talk about the Travolta Nic Cage Porn crossover, Dick Off.
That was lazy. It could still be face. It should be in face, and then instead of a slash, there's a dick. And they just suck each other's dicks.
Oh, it's a gay porn now? Even better. End of episode.